our McKinley family, the Big Blue Machine, with the greeting words of peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
That's simply a greeting meaning peace be unto you. That's all it means, is peace be unto you. So when you hear a brother or sister say Assalamu alaikum, they're simply telling you peace, my brother. And not, what's up, dog? What's up? What's up? What's up, Ron? They saying peace, my brother. So that's what that means, Assalamu alaikum. And you return the greetings by saying walaikum salam. So let's try it. I'm going to say Assalamu alaikum, and I want y'all to say walaikum salam. All right? So, Assalamu alaikum. That simply means peace be unto you. It feels good to be back at McKinley Senior High School. I'm Brother Rashad Muhammad. Some of you might know me, some of you might not. I went to McKinley High. I graduated in 2009. I played football for the Big Blue Machine under Coach C in the back. I'm happy that as I come back to McKinley, one thing about this school that y'all will learn. When y'all leave from this school, when y'all leave McKinley High School, y'all will find out that there's really no other place that you could come to and get an education where people not just teaching you or trying to teach you, but they really care about you. And they really care about your learning. It's somewhere where you can come back to. A lot of people, as I grew older and growing older, a lot of people who I went to school with at McKinley, we come back. We come back to McKinley after we leave McKinley. But a lot of schools and friends that y'all might have that go to different schools, when they leave their high school, they might not ever return back to their high school. They might not have that same type of feeling that you're going to have about McKinley Senior High. So y'all should give yourselves a round of applause for being able to attend a school where our parents do so much. For being able to attend a school where your teachers, your faculty, and your staff really care about you. Because it really takes a village to raise a child. Your mom, you might not always listen to what your mama got to say or what your daddy got to say, but when you hear it from your coach, it might hit home to you. When you hear it from your principal, it might hit home to you. Or it might take one of your partners for you to hear from and hit home to you. So you're in an environment at McKinley High where you could go and you could get something and you could really take it with you further in your life. So, without any delay, I'd like to bring up a brother who's a very strong brother. He came all the way from Indianapolis, Indiana, to speak to y'all here at McKinley High School. He's a national representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan here in the Nation of Islam. So I'd like to bring this brother home to y'all. I want y'all to give him a warm round of applause as he's going to greet y'all with blessing, peace and blessings. So I'll send him over to you.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that regardless to land, language, or label, creed, class, color, race, religion, or ritual, that there is but one God. We thank Him for Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, but we also thank Him for those great revolutionaries, martyrs, and freedom fighters that have come up in the line of time to strike a blow for freedom for us. Such a man was a man named Dr. Martin Luther King. Such a man was a man like Frederick Douglass and W.E.B. Du Bois. Such a man was a man like Nat Turner and Denmark Vesey and Gabriel Prosser. Such a woman was a woman like Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman and Madam C.J. Walker and Rosa Parks. We are thankful to all of these great ones that have come before us to help pave the way to make America a nation that is what it's supposed to be. It is in their holy, their righteous names, and in their spirit that we greet all of you once again in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. I'm so happy to be here at McKinley High School today. And I want to thank the great Mrs. McKnight for doing the due diligence to make this day happen. Let's give her a round of applause for Mrs. McKnight, to Principal Bristol, for allowing us to have this great opportunity to come and speak with you who are the future rulers of the planet, you that are the great engineers, the architects, the doctors, the scientists, the shot callers that's coming up in the world. We are thankful for this great opportunity. What we wanted to take up as a little subject for the first part, which will be the monologue, meaning I'll talk to you, and then at the second part we'll do a dialogue, which means that you will talk to me. For the monologue part, I wanted to talk about a subject or a theme that is a statement that I learned from my teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he said this. He said that there is nothing more powerful than a made-up mind. Did y'all hear me? There's nothing more powerful than a what? Made-up mind. Than a what? Made-up mind. A made-up mind. Now, as you all move through life, you will learn that, or you've already learned, that everybody that you meet is not always on your team and are not always trying to see you become successful. Unfortunately, as we move through life, we meet people that we call spirit killers, dream snatchers, or in street terms, haters. Have you ever met some haters before? You know, haters are like crickets. I said haters are like what? Crickets. Crickets always are in dark places. And have you ever had a cricket in your house or in your garage? You hear them making noise, but as soon as you get close to the cricket, they automatically do what? They stop. That's how haters are. See, haters will talk about you whenever you are not around. But as soon as you show up, now all of a sudden, y'all know what I'm trying to say. Crickets and haters are just alike. Crickets are scavengers. Scavengers eat all of the worst stuff that they can find. So it is when you find people that are haters, they're always looking for the bad stuff that they can find out about you so they can go run their mouth to somebody else. So crickets always are in dark places. Crickets always make noise when you're not around. Crickets are scavengers, always looking for the negative. Well, whenever you come across these types of people, dream snatchers, spirit killers, haters, their job is to try to keep you from being what they have not been able to become. Have you ever heard that saying that misery loves company? See, anytime a person has been a failure, then they don't want to see anybody that comes up around them be successful, because if you are successful and you are from where they are from, then they have to put themselves in front of the mirror and recognize the reason they're not successful is because of the lack of their own doings. So misery loves company. Well, unfortunately, when you find people that are successful versus failures, all of them at some point in their life met some crickets, or some haters, or some spirit killers, or some dream catchers. The difference, though, between the ones that are successful and those that become failures in life is that the ones that are unsuccessful usually allow the spirit killers or the dream snatchers or the haters to make them sad, and they punk out on their objectives. But those who are successful allow the hate to become fuel for their fire. And they use it as premium octane gas to fuel their passion to achieve greatness. Did you know that sometimes haters come up from the very neighborhood you live in? Did you know that sometimes you can meet a spirit killer and it might be a teacher right inside the school? Did you know that even sometimes haters and spirit killers and dream snatchers come up in your own house? Sometimes mama and daddy can become a spirit killer. That's why the statement that there's nothing more powerful than a what? Made up mind is so relevant today. Because whether or not you met a spirit killer or a dream snatcher or a hater or a cricket in your hood or in your house or in your school, irregardless to who they are or where they're from, if your mind is made up, there's nothing that they can do to stop you. Does that make sense? Did you know that Jay-Z, when he was in the 6th grade, his teacher told him that he would either be dead or on drugs? That was a spirit killer. You ever heard of Pharrell before? The great musical engineer that wrote Happy and all the other big hits. Did you know in the 6th grade, his teacher told him that if he stayed doing what he was doing, he would be a nobody in life? You ever heard of a man named Malcolm X? Do you know of Malcolm X when he was in school? His teacher asked him, what do you want to be in life? And in the 8th grade, he told his teacher that I want to be a lawyer. And the teacher told him, Malcolm, your own people would trust you enough to hire you. And you know my people would never hire you. So you make a much better carpenter. In other words, work with your hands, but don't become a lawyer because you can shake a nation. The man that I represent, Minister Louis Farrakhan, guess what grade he was in? 6th grade. And when he was in the 6th grade, his white teacher asked him, what do you want to be in life? He said, I want to be a doctor. And the teacher said, oh, Louis, you know your own people would never come to you, and my people would never go to you to be healed. You play the violin beautifully. Why not just be a violin player? Anybody ever heard of a man named Steve Harvey? What grade do you think he was in when he was, something about that 6th grade. It's because the scientists of evil that are the high-level haters, that are the big crickets, that are the real dream snatchers, they know that at the age of 11 to 13 is when the brain begins to prune itself. And it begins to look over data that we've learned in the course of our life up to that point and begins to discard the things that we have not yet acted on. So if we have not by the age of 11, 12, or 13 acted on some of the things we believed in as a younger person, then automatically our brains began to register a certain degree of weakness. And what they do is come in to reinforce the idea to keep us from becoming what we are supposed to be. So Steve Harvey, when he was in the what? 6th grade. His teacher asked the whole class to write a paper on what do you want to be in life. And Steve Harvey wrote his paper and he was called to the front of the class. Naturally, Steve Harvey thought when he was called to the front of the class, he said, I thought my teacher was calling me up there because my paper was so good that she wanted me to read it to the whole class. So the teacher gave Steve Harvey his paper, stood him in front of the whole class, and then asked Steve Harvey a question. She said, Steve, what did you say that you wanted to be? He said, I want to be on television. And then the teacher said, why would you write a paper that you want to be on television? And Steve responded back to his teacher, well, you told me to write a paper on what I want to be. I want to be on television. And she said, well, let me ask you a question, Steve. Do you know anybody on TV? No, ma'am. Is anybody in your family on TV? No, ma'am. And then she dropped this statement on him that we need to go back on our time track when we was in the 6th grade or before or maybe a few days after. She told Steve, she said, well, I want you to take that paper home and throw it in the trash and write me a paper on something more realistic. Did y'all hear me? More what? Realistic is a code name for punking out on your dreams. So anytime somebody tells you that when you put out there what you want to be, do, or have, they try to tell you to do something more realistic, know that that's the kind of person you got to turn your back on because they're trying to get you to punk out on what you're going to be. Did y'all hear me? One other thing, brothers, sisters, be careful sharing your big ideas with small-minded people. Because the minute you share your big idea with a small-minded person, they immediately are going to try to talk you out of doing what you know you can do. So Steve Harvey, what do y'all think he did? He went home with the paper. But when he went home with the paper, he told his mother when he got home, he said, "Mom, at school today, you won't believe what happened. Teacher asked me to write a paper on what I wanted to be. I told her I want to be on television. She told me to come home, throw the paper away, and write a paper on something more realistic." And Steve Harvey's mama made a big mistake. What y'all think she did? She agreed with him. She told him, well, if that's what the teacher says, then that's what you need to do. But Steve Harvey still didn't settle well with it. So he waited for his father to come home. And when Steve Harvey's father came home, Steve Harvey said, "Dad, I need to talk to you about something. In school, the teacher told me to write a paper on what I wanted to be. I said I want to be on television. She stood me in front of the class and asked me, do I know anybody on TV? Is any of our family on TV? And said, since I don't have those two things, then I need to ball it up, throw it in the trash, and write something more realistic. Then I came home and told Mom, and Mama said that I need to do that. What you think?" And Steve Harvey's father said, "Well, let me see the paper, son." And then Steve Harvey, his father, and Steve Harvey's mother, all in the same house, he looked at the paper and said to both of them, Steve Harvey and his mother, "I don't see nothing wrong with the paper." And then Steve Harvey said that my father told me to go up to my room. He wanted to have a conversation with his wife. Now, I don't know for sure what he said to his wife, but I'm pretty sure Steve Harvey's father told his wife, Steve Harvey's mother, "Don't you ever tell our son what he cannot become. Anything that he want to become, if he got his mind made up, he can make it happen." But Steve Harvey's father came upstairs and said, "Well, look, Steve, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Go ahead and write a paper saying you want to be a police officer, and you turn that in to your teacher. But what I want you to do is I want you to take your paper about what you really want to be, and I want you to put it in the top drawer in your house, or in our house. And before you walk out and leave your room every morning, I want you to pull it out and I want you to read your paper." Steve Harvey, for 10 years, every single day, read that he wanted to be on television. Where is Steve Harvey at right now? He's on, because there's nothing more powerful than a what? A made-up mind. So I'm saying that to say that if you will be able to reflect somewhere in your life, you met a teacher that might have been like one of them teachers. You might have met an uncle or an auntie or somebody from the hood you grew up in or the house that you live in. Maybe even your own mother and father tried to drop a seed on you to stop you from becoming what you're supposed to be. But whatever it is that you had your mind made up to be, rewrite it. Read it every day. And you can, in fact, make it happen. Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. Now, is it true that there's nothing more powerful than a? Is it even true? Because at the end of the day, just to make a statement, if it cannot be verified and validated in science, then maybe it's not even the truth. So what's the sense in saying? Did you know that in physics, the formula for power is power equals work divided by time? In other words, if you want to find the most powerful object in the universe, all you have to do is find the fastest moving object in the universe. And when you find the fastest moving object in the universe, you have found the most powerful object in the universe. Well, every day we use a mode of transportation that's called a what? A car. Cars have horse power. And because of horse power, a car can go up to 250 miles per hour. That's fast. However, there's something else that exists in our universe that has a car beat as a mode of transportation that's above our head called a what? An airplane. A plane can travel on the average speed of 500 miles per hour. So by the law of power equals work divided by time, or power equals speed, then a plane has more power than a what? A car. But then there's something else in the universe that's moving faster than the jet, faster than the plane, faster than the car. And it's the planet that we live on. And even though this planet that we live on has 196,940,000 square miles of land and water, it has 57,255,000 square miles of land that stick up out of 139,685,000 square miles of water. The Pacific Ocean covers 68,634,000 square miles. The Atlantic Ocean covers 41,321,000 square miles. The Indian Ocean covers 29,430,000 square miles. There's 1 million square miles of lakes and rivers, 1,910,000 square miles of islands, 4,861,000 square miles of deserts. And this planet, 24,896 miles in circumference, 7,926 miles in diameter, weighs 6 sextillion tons, which is a unit followed by 21 zeros. With that much size, land, water, and volume, still travels at the terrific speed of 1,037 1/3 miles per hour. All praise is due to Allah. So if power is speed, then the planet has more power than the what? Planet has more power than the plane, right? And the plane has more power than the... But then there's something else in the universe that has the planet, the plane, and the car beat. It's called sound. Sound travels at the rate of 1,120 feet per second. So sound, by the law of power, is more powerful than the planet. The planet's more powerful than the plane. Come on, y'all roll with me, please. More powerful than the what? And the plane has more power than the... But then there's something else in the universe that's moving faster than sound, planet, plane, and car. Somebody said light. Did you know that that great ball of fire called the sun, 93 million miles away from us, is 853,000 miles in diameter, with 10 to 20,000 mile high flames on it, burning at 14,072 degrees? And every 8 minutes and 20 seconds, a ray of light can travel from the sun to the Earth's equator in a matter of 8 minutes and 20 seconds or 500 seconds, which means that light travels at the terrific speed of 186,000 miles per second. So light has more power than sound, and sound had more power than the, and the earth had more power than the, and the plane had more power than the. But then there's something else in the universe that has more power than the light, the sound, the planet, the plane, and the car. Guess what it is? Thought. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that thought travels on the average of 24 billion miles per second, around 14 billion brain cells that exist inside of our head. You didn't hear me. That means that thought, 24 billion miles per second, is the fastest moving object in the universe. And if you find the fastest moving object in the universe, you have found the most powerful object in the universe. So it is true scientifically and mathematically that there is nothing more powerful than a made-up mind. Are y'all with me? So I'm saying that to you, brothers and sisters. No matter what you heard and no matter who told it to you, if you began to allow your thought traveling at 24 billion miles per second to begin rotating around your 14 billion brain cells, everything that spins in any form produces two forces. One called centripetal force and one is centrifugal force. Centripetal force means when an object spins, it brings things closer to it. Centrifugal force means when an object spins, it pushes stuff away from it. Your mind, your thoughts that you think, depending upon the nature of them, you will attract people, situation, and circumstances to you that match the nature of your thoughts. And you will repel people, situations, and circumstances that are opposite of your thinking. So if you make up your mind to think powerful, right, strong thoughts, you will begin to attract to yourself powerful, right, and strong people, situations, circumstances, and events. And guess what? You will begin to repel weak, negative, wrong people, situations, circumstances, and events. In other words, you will become immune to spirit killers. You will begin to repel dream snatchers. You will begin to shun and push away from you haters or crickets. Are y'all with me? All it takes is for you to have a made-up mind. So I'm saying all of that to say I hope that you will go back and rethink about what you said you really wanted to be in life before you accepted the artificial limitations that came from the spirit killers of this world. And if you go back and find out that you wanted to be an engineer or a doctor or a chemist, then start putting in the work right now to adjust your habits to bring it into existence. And the best thing you can do is write it down, read it every day, and remember to tell yourself, no matter what, that there's nothing more powerful than a what? Made up mind. Thank y'all so much for listening. I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, we got a few minutes, so I wanted to just put that out there, and I want to ask you if there's any questions that you would like to ask about what was said today, or maybe something that was said today caused you to think about something that you may want to ask, and I'll do my best to answer your question. I can't promise you that I have all the answers, but I can promise you I know somebody that does. And if I don't have your answer, maybe y'all let me come back, and I'll bring the answer back with me. I seen a hand right there. Yes, sir? Yes, sir. Oh, I didn't know. Well, as a general rule, whenever we sit in the Nation of Islam, let me see a chair real quick. Let me see a chair. Can y'all see me? When you sit like this, did you know, have you ever heard of body language? Body language means that whatever, the way you carry yourself can tell people about what you're thinking or what you're feeling at the time. In fact, remember this. Communication is only 7% words. 38% of communication is tone or spirit, and the other 55% of communication is physiology or the way you carry yourself. If you seen somebody and they were sitting and in a class and they was like this, what do y'all think that means? Tired, bored, right? If you see somebody and they sit like this and looking at you like this, what does that mean? That they think you lying or you getting on their nerves, right? If you see somebody and they sitting slumped all over, you say, lazy. Huh? Now, if you see somebody and you in class and they're sitting at the edge of their seat, they're excited, they're paying attention. So all of these different sitting positions tell a story about us. So what we do is when we sit like this. You can't tell what they think. You don't know what somebody's thinking like this. But the deep science of it, brothers and sisters, I'm trying to hold my mic where I can still do this. Thank you. So if I'm holding, look at this. This is my left hand. The left hand is the hand, they say, of wrong, negative. But because it represents the negative expression, I'm putting my right hand on top of it. That means that I'm using my right and positive to keep in check my negative. So when we sit like this, it's just a physical reminder that even though we might have weakness, unrighteousness, or wrong things in us, by the fact that I got my right hand over my left, I got to keep that wrong in check. I'm in control of it. I will not let it be in control of me. So that's why they sit the way they sit. You're welcome. Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Any other questions, sisters, brothers? No questions. Yes, sir. Yes, I am a Muslim. I was not born a Muslim. I accepted the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad when I was 17 years of age, and I've been one since then. However, my biological father is from Iran. Where are you from? Palestinian. My cousin right down the street. Good to see you, homie. But that's what happened to me. I accepted it. I never met my father till I was 30. He was an Iranian Negro. No, he was.
Go ahead, brother.
He's my father. I can say that. He's my father.
Come on.
He didn't do right. He was dead. He's dead. But I met the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad through tapes, videos, and books. And to be honest with you, Farrakhan was more of a father to me through lectures than my biological father ever was for me in real time. And I'm going to say that to any of you that are growing up without a father. Don't allow the absence of a father to justify the presence of failure in your life. Because whether you have a father in your home or not, everything you want to know is found in a book somewhere. All it takes is for you to read. And remember this, leaders are readers. Leaders are readers. Thank you, sir. Anybody else?
Stand up.
Stand up so I can hear you, sir. Where is that? He asked, where did I attend college? Unfortunately and fortunately, I never went to college. Everything that I have learned has been from personal discipline study of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And that's what happened to me. Now, I'm not recommending that that is what any of you do. Once you find your purpose for living, see, can I drop something on you? You will be happier doing what you love for less money than doing what you don't like or hate and be rich at the same time. Real happiness does not come from the feeling full of your pocket. Real happiness comes when you fulfill your purpose. How do you know your purpose? You know your purpose, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this, by what you love to do and what you do good or well is more than likely what you're born to do. So your purpose for living is that single act that you do well with the least amount of effort. That's what you're born to do. So because my purpose was to be a teacher and an organizer of poor and oppressed people, there is no college or university on the planet that can teach you how to be a freedom fighter or a representative of God. Therefore, it wouldn't have been necessary for me to go to a college. If my purpose was to be an engineer, school would have been right for me. If my purpose was to be an architect, school would be right for me. So if your purpose is to be a doctor or whatever skill set that requires college, then be willing to pay your dues. I told my son, my son is blessed to be, he's really, really smart, naturally. So he graduated from high school at like 17 years of age, maybe just turning 17. And with, high honors. But he didn't want to go to college. And I told my son, I said, well, look, son, I'm going to say it like this. Pay now and play later, or play now and pay later. And my son was looking at me like some of y'all looking at me right now. Well, now and later don't sound too bad. I said to my son, I said, I can see the look on your face. I said, you don't understand what now and later is. Now is 5 years. Later is 50. I said, so now put the math in the equation. Pay with self discipline for 5 years, and you'll be able to play for 50. But if you decide that you don't want to pay the price to be what you're supposed to be or what you want to be, then you can play now for 5 years, but you're going to pay for it for 50. So I'm saying that to all the soldiers present. Whenever you are reaching that time to leave school, if your mindset is and your purpose is to do something that requires that you got to pay the price of going to school, pay your dues. Because if you pay for 5, you'll be able to play for 50. Not literally, but y'all understand what I'm trying to say, right? That means that you'll have more, you'll be happier, and you'll be able to do better and do more for others for 50 years of your life if you go ahead and discipline yourself right now on the front end. There's 1 or 2 pains that a man must suffer or a woman must suffer. That's either the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Either you go ahead and discipline yourself now and have pain and have great reward long-term in the future, or you have short-term gain now and long-term pain in the future and be walking around with regret for the rest of your life. Ask the people that you know that have reached 40, 50, 60 years of age. Most of them will tell you that they wish they would have done something a little bit different. That way they could have been set up a little bit stronger to be worth more to themselves and to their family. Don't go out like that. If you got something in your mind you want to be, pay your dues and make it happen. Y'all all right? Are we at the end? We at the end, Mrs. McKnight? Well, thank you all so much for allowing me to come. If you all can, I'll be speaking at Southern University tonight at 7 o'clock. If you can make your way over there, I'll be honored to see you. I'm going to give the mic to Mrs. McKnight so she can close us out. All right, y'all, keep your discipline, man. Discipline. Discipline.